Hello everyone, this is the third video for the groundwork exercises for day 3. This is going to be the explanation video that explains the new moves that we're introducing today. I'm going to introduce 2 new movements that build upon the movements that we did in the last video, which were bridging and shrimping. And so we're going to initiate these 2 movements with a bridging action. So we're going to cover leg scissors and we're going to cover turning over. Hope you like this, and don't forget that there is a separate workout that follows this video that drills and practices these movements in conjunction with all the other movements we've done as a full workout that you can do at home. I hope you like it, and if you've got any questions, don't forget to ask. Okay, so first movement we're going to cover is scissors, okay, or scissoring with the legs. So this is quite often done from a bottom position, where your objective is to take your hips from facing to the ceiling to facing back down to the floor. Quite often it's effective to do this with an underhook or to try and get to a single leg position, but this movement can be used in a whole variety of different scenarios, but as we drill it as a basic routine, we always follow a set structure. So we're going to start with a vertical bridge. The reason that we start with a vertical bridge this time is to create space between my back and the floor, my lower back and the floor, that I'm going to fall into. So I want you to watch as I do the first 2 movements, the position of my right elbow. So I'm going to bring my feet close to my bum. I'm going to elevate my hips vertically, just with a straight vertical bridge, and I'm going to bring my elbow underneath my hip. Okay, so this is the first 2 movements that we have. So again, with the command scissor is called, we elevate the hips, and we are going to throw our legs out in like a swivel position, but facing to the ceiling. But I'm going to crucially bring my elbow underneath my hip. Okay, so if I change my perspective, I need you to see something important. My elbow is right underneath my hip. So in terms of my points of support, I've got both of my feet. My shoulder, the weight isn't at this stage actually on my shoulder. Okay, the weight at this stage is coming through my hip into my elbow, but I am going to transition the weight from this position into my shoulder. So this is the first motion that I make. This is actually the preparation. This isn't leg scissor. The leg scissor from here happens as I transition my weight from my elbow to my shoulder. And I scissor my legs, but now my hips are facing down towards the floor. From here I can bring my knees easily back inside, and I get back to my Shihogatame position. So from the opposite direction. So from here, we bring the feet in, we elevate the hips, I take my elbow to my hip. So all of this happens as I allow my hips back to fall down back to the floor. So imagine my opponent's on top of me, I've created an underhook, I elevate, so that gives me the space to fall into, and I take my elbow into the preparatory motion, where I would make my legs as wide as possible. Okay, from here, I transition my weight from my elbow into my shoulder and make my scissors again as wide as possible. But now, with my balls of the feet in the floor, my hips are elevated, my weight is to my shoulder, so I have 3 points of support. I can bring my knees in, and so I end by facing 180 degrees from the direction that I started. Okay, in this direction. So we elevate the hips. 1, I'm going to drop my hip to my elbow. 2, and you can see I've brought my head slightly forward. From here, I'm going to swivel the legs into the scissor position, and then I'm going to bring my knees up and return back 180 to where I started. So this is our command for scissors, okay, or leg scissor. So again, this is a really important motion, but it follows on naturally from the preparation that we get from a vertical bridge. So that's the first new movement for today. The second new movement is a turnover, specifically turning over from a bridge back into a Shihogatame position. This time not a vertical bridge, but a bridge where I go onto one of my shoulders. So to do this, you do need to be conscious of where you're going to start and where you're going to end, because you do need a little bit of space. So I'm going to start initially just from here with the intention of ending over at this point here. So I do need space to my left hand side for this first one. So the command for this is right leg over. Okay, so obviously if I was in shiokatame, I could just say right leg and we just throw the right leg out. Okay, but because we're in the guard position, I'm going to bring my right leg over. That has implications that I'm going to pass this across my centre line. Okay, so from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my normal bridge onto my left shoulder. So I'm going to look, I'm going to bring my feet in, elevate my hips as much as possible, arch, and have this knee pointing that direction. Now this shoulder provides a point of support, so I can come into this knee if I wish, but it's the action of this right leg coming over and coming back to 90 degrees from where I started, which is the right leg over action. I'm going to do the same motion now, but facing this way. So from here, we start with our bridge, but we're going to continue the action over and then come 90 degrees from where we originally started. One more time. So look, bridge and elevate first. From here, this leg is going to come over and then we come back. So we're just pivoting off this shoulder joint and turning all the way through as if we were completing a bridge escape. I can obviously do the same thing in the opposite direction. So from here, I can go left leg over, but the crucial thing to remember is that if I do that, I'm bridging to my right shoulder first to allow my left leg to come over, and then pivot and come again 90 degrees, but in the opposite direction. We can add to that another action, which is I can go in reverse. So from a shihogatame position, okay, what I can do is I can drop my shoulder to the floor and orientate myself either in 90 degrees, or I can drop my shoulder to the floor and just do the simple opposite of a backward roll and just get immediately into a guard position. One more time. From here, I'm going to bring my shoulder to the floor, I'm going to bring my arm in, and I'm going to elevate my hips. From that position, it's easy to transition my weight, pivot on my shoulder, and then come back down. I'm going to do that one more time. So we start in shihogatame. If I'm going to do the right leg over or left leg over in reverse, okay, the reverse action, what I want to do is to get my shoulder to the floor because that's my pivot point. So I'm going to bring my arm in, inside my legs. I can extend that if I want to get my shoulder, but I'm going to crucially drop my shoulder to the floor. I come onto the balls of my feet. I elevate my hips into a raised posture. So now my 3 points of support are my 2 feet and my shoulder. I can take my feet off the floor, and at this point all my weight is resting from my shoulder. That allows me to pivot, turn my hips, square, and come back down to guard. One more time. So I start in my shihogatame position. I'm going to bring my arm through, shoulder to the floor, elevate the hips, control my weight. So I don't just want to flop, I don't just want to fall randomly. I pivot and then come back. Obviously the reverse action, we came to here, so I'm bringing my weight onto my shoulder. I can bring into that knee, bring this leg over, and then turn. One extra thing that I can add to that is as I do a backward roll, I can begin to cut out motions. So typically what we've covered in the past is I can go into a backward roll, into shihogatame, and then go left foot out. It would look something like this. So from here, look, backward roll, shihogatame, left foot out, which is totally fine, but I can cut out the middleman. I can cut out the shihogatame position and go immediately into left foot out. So if I'm going to do a backward roll into left foot out without the shihogatame, if I do it slowly, as I look, as I come over, as this knee gets to the floor, my other leg is immediately going to pivot through and come into my left foot out posture, and I want to come down, my elbows in, head down, hips down, in a low position. Again, I can reverse forward roll and get back to where I started, back into my guard position. And then I can equally do the same in the other direction. So I look, I elevate the hips, this knee is my point of support, and my other foot comes straight out into that position. My goal is, as I come down, is to reset my elbows. So in one action, my goal is to come over and resettle as quickly as possible. Then I can carry on with all the other exercises that we've done. So those are our additional movements that we are introducing today. So first we have the leg scissor. So vertical hip elevation, 1, 2, and then pivot so that we go 180 from where we originally started. Then we talked about the leg over action. So if I go right leg over, I start with a left bridge, right leg comes over, and I turn so that I'm 90 degrees from where I originally started. We then talked about doing that same action in reverse. So we can call this a back step or reverse leg over. So when we do this, I'm going to take my hand, I'm going to pass all the way through, shoulder to the floor, hip elevation, and then come down back to where we started, back into guard. And we also talked about the idea of just going straight from the backward roll straight into a leg out position. So from our guard position, we come straight back and then straight out, as opposed to going into Shigo with Hame first. So you'll be able to see the link down below in the description below that will link to the workout that goes with this set of explanations, and these movements will get drilled and then will get incorporated with all of the other movements we talked about. Hope you enjoy it, and don't forget to check out tomorrow's, which will be the last one in this series, just looking at ground movements, and then you will have nearly the full set of what we typically practice in the dojo to work on and practice for yourselves. If you like the video, guys, don't forget to click like and subscribe, and I will see you very soon.